Welcome to NBA to Run. Today I'm going to be showing you this game and how it brings back the fun in basketball. One of the best things about this game is that it is made to have a good time with. And I am going to let you guys know I do recommend this game. And it's because it brings back that feel and that flow. So we're going to get into that. I want to teach you some things about basketball in general, video games, and the development of this game, and much more. So just stay tuned and lock in for this deep dive review. Yes, I recommend this game. Caveat, as usual, when I recommend games, is your preference of a video game. If you're looking for an arcadey, fun 3v3 PvP mode type of game, this is the answer. And we're going to get into all of the things that it offers. But yeah, I would recommend that for sure. As you can see, I'm going to be showcasing dribble moves, ankle breakers, and much more with Kyrie Irving, specifically one of my favorite dribblers of all time. And then also get into all the features and mechanics while we discuss things and show off a couple of key things as well. Before we get started, the main thing that I would point out while I review it and give you guys my rundown is that this was made by 18 developers, which means you need to set your expectations. When they make these other big games, say sports games, they have 400 at a minimum, and then probably even more than that for a lot of these games. And it's not that having 18s is good enough. This is called passion and dedication. Developers who made this game happen to be developers that worked in EA since like 1990. And they worked on the previous NBA to Run, the original, as well as Volume 2, Madden, NFL games, and so much more. Tons of stuff. And even other developers have experience in other games like Dead Space, Medal for Honor, Battlefield, and more. But these guys basically worked very hard their whole career in this space, and they just really felt like it was time for a game to give us this arcade street ball feel. And I agree with them, as you could tell. But yeah, the arcade sports has been amazing. It's been missing in the industry, and I couldn't tell you why, and I think that's a good video to make someday. But honestly speaking, these games like this one right here, you see me just practice ankle breakers on this game right now in the background. That's just very fun, and I feel like we're missing that thing from some of these sports games. Right now we'll get regular games released every year from every sports out there, but they always simulation based, and they do have some arcadiness to them. It's not actually true sim, but the fact is that mindset takes away from some of this bombastic type of basketball, the silly football games or whatever. And that is something that all video games need to remember. I think a lot of times we'll get games where they say nerf this, nerf that, and I don't agree. If it's not a competitive multiplayer game, you don't need to nerf anything, right? I want to be a superhero when I play a single player game, for example. And that doesn't mean that all these games need to be like that. Having these fun elements where wild dunks, crazy blocks, and steals and things like that makes it even more fun. And so for me, it's definitely one of those things that this game does well. I wanted to start off by just pointing that out to talk about a couple of other things as we go forward. So now that we got that out of the way, I do want to mention a couple things. In the background, you're going to be looking at different characters and so on. These characters are hand designed by the developers, and it's 3 people making the art. I'm sorry, I think it's the animations. I'm sorry. I forgot how many people are in the art team, but the art team is pretty small as well. They handcraft these things. This isn't some AI generated content, right? These are all handcrafted. The animations as well are not mocap, which means that they have to do them themselves even more than the mocap. The mocap is cheaper to do, but it's also not as authentic as this, where they are putting in the work themselves. And I'm not going to go into detail on designs. But the reason I bring that up is because you see the look of these characters. This is genuinely how each character looks. There isn't a character in the game where I'm like, that doesn't look like him. Shout out to Anthony Edwards. In 2K, he doesn't look like himself. He hasn't. They had a hard time getting his face scan. In this game, there's no face scan. They actually handcraft all of the artwork, which I'll showcase a little later as we go through some other features and mechanics. But you go through all that, then you got these courts that are authentic courts. I played on this court when I was a kid, okay? And shout out to, you know, New York City. I'm a Knicks fan, so we're about to win the title by the time this video comes out. Being said, I personally love the way the game feels and flows, and it's good. The problem is we have different expectations. For example, for me, I know it's an 18-player person team, and they have their vision of how they want it to feel and play. It does feel different than everything you might know. I was originally trying to play 2K, trying to do crossovers and things like that, and this game doesn't have that system. It has a lot of tricks, a lot of good moves, do some fun stuff. As you can see, I'm just kind of like spamming my skill things to try to get an ankle breaker. It flows good for what they're doing, okay? And we're gonna get into a little bit of mechanics a little later, but the point is it's not traditional from 2K style, right? NBA Live originated this stuff, and then 2K mastered the stick dribbles to the point where, you know, every game is expected to have their mechanics, which we don't. So those are the kind of things that you got to remember and understand. This is a different system. They still have the stick dribble, but they use this button as well for style and dribbles. There's ankle breakers and things like that. They're really helpful. Very cool. So it's a good conversation to get into about what is necessary and what is needed. But we'll get into like feedback and your thoughts and opinions if you played this already. Do you think it needs, what it should do, how should it work, etc., etc. Feel free to share. I'm here for it. But yeah, so that's the kind of thing that I love. But overall, the game plays well. One of my favorite things, if you're watching, I get some blocks, right? Like I get some blocks at the 3, which I love. Very strong at blocks, very strong for steals if you can time it well. You get a lot of steals just like that. And the reason I love this is because like steals and blocks, I shouldn't feel like I don't want to play defense, right? Like, no offense to 2K, but a lot of their games will make it so that defense doesn't feel, you know, beneficial. So a lot of players would, in some years of 2K, they would put players with no defense just because it's not rewarding. And this game is very rewarding. If you put a defensive player on, you're going to be scary out there. You can be the key player for your team. And that to me is fun. But they still make it offensively exaggerated. You see me doing quick step backs, turnarounds like nothing. I haven't practiced shooting in this game at all. The moment I picked it up, I was able to shoot like crazy. And that also is fun because it just makes it like, okay, you might be skilled, but so am I. And who's better at what? My defense stronger than yours or my offense stronger than yours? And then it turns into just being overpowered on defense and offense. And it's like, okay, just let them cook. This is what I was mentioning earlier about fun, where it's like if they nerfed everybody and nobody could shoot, nobody could play defense, the game would be bland. And that's not what we want. In these kind of games specifically, you have to emphasize in that, in my personal opinion. They do a good job of that. And so I personally love it and I'm excited about it. And I want to mention some things outside of gameplay. We'll get into it a little more, but just want to mention some things that, you know, people need to know with the gameplay and the features and mechanics and so on and so on. The main thing is that they have PvP in mind. It's the #1 focus, pretty much everything to them, you know, like they really care about it. And so I'll bring that up and I'll showcase the 3 modes that are in the game. Everything is what you just saw, which is basically tournament modes where you go in here and then you can play against other players and 3-on-3. And then there's a build a team with you solos where me and 2 AI that I can control versus another player with his 2 AI. and then they have private matches, and this is all they have for modes. So this is where the concerns come in for a lot of the community. Like, what am I grinding for? What am I going for? Not much to do. There's only 2 modes in there. I don't know about this game. And that could be worrisome for people. But what I love about it, and if you watch some of the footage where, you know, we finished the game and all that stuff, but the main thing that you want to take away is that there's these tournaments. If you can see in the background right here, in the matches, you're going to play a tournament, and it takes like 10 to 15 minutes to finish this tournament and win it all, like 3 minutes per game. But what's cool is each round has different rules. So once the round starts, you're going to end up going into this roguelike system where it'll spin the wheel in a way and decide, okay, what is your next game going to be? As you can see, this is the rules right here. Every rule will change depending on the round, and it's always different as far as like, we'll just spin and pick something. So for example, first team to 30, 2s and 3s, everything is a 1 point. Okay, and that's an example of the way that this has variety as far as like gameplay wise. But the community is correct, as in there isn't much to grind for outside of this mechanic here, which is called ranked. So in ranked, you're capable of unlocking special characters. These are legend characters with special attributes that no other NBA player has. It's a different playstyle. And so you pick those characters up, you're getting coins to buy different things, which we'll get into later, and a bunch of banners and profile pictures, more legends that you can pick up. That is pretty much the core of the reward system, which I think is great. You know, this is supposed to be just a fun game, and pick it up, you have fun, and go forward. I want you to show you real quick just my lifetime stats. This is very awesome that they keep track of everything. I've won 77 games, lost 6, and I got 79 MVP earns. I love that. And then first they do player by player, which I think is very cool, where you can see how good you perform with that specific player, what's your shooting percentage, your win percentage, or whatever. It's in the game as well. And to me, that is a great feature. No, just this alone is really nice. Now I want to mention a couple of other things that they have. This is the shop where you can buy variants. For example, the rookie LeBron, he's going to have different stats than the main LeBron, the current LeBron that we have in the game. I can purchase him. I'm gonna save my coins, but I could purchase him if I wanted. Then of course there's outfits for me to level up and then unlock specific ones, which I'm gonna get the New York Knicks one. That's my baby, and that's how we go. And the same thing with dunks. This is a very cool mechanic, and I feel like devs should put this for dribbling as well. You can buy dunks right now, and you can put on 5 dunks total. You're gonna have a default dunk that you automatically have for each character, very unique for each character. Then you have these that you can equip for all the characters. And so better, bigger, stronger dunks. So check that out. And this is a cool mechanic in my opinion. Then of course, taunting players in the game, kind of just having fun with it. Then they have the badges and the banners that you can earn from the rep system, but there's some unique ones, specifically like me having this, what I want. Yeah, it's pretty cool if you ask me, as far as like extra things that you can grind for. So while a lot of players will say this isn't enough for me to grind, and yeah, well, how long will it take you to unlock everything? You know, it's just an extra addition to the game. It is not the core game. Going out there and competing is the #1 thing. Now I want to mention something else, which is just their selection. As you can see here, they all have different attributes and unique elements in here. And this is where, to me, you know, my fun about gameplay is very key. I like Kawhi Leonard. He's a great defender. He's going to get a lot of steals from me. And then he can still shoot, dunk, dribble, and do all the basic things that you might want to do. Personally, I love his build overall. But you can go with the traditional guards out there. Ja Morant's more dunking, as you can see. Everybody has different attributes and buffs for different things, and it's just fun to kind of go in here. I told you guys the legends are here. They said that they're going to be adding more legends in the future. I don't want to speak for them on what is coming or not coming. I would definitely guarantee that there's legends coming. I'm sure they have a few more already, just because this was originally supposed to be a street basketball game and not an NBA game. The NBA and them work together after the fact, but originally it was just going to be a street game. So I do believe a lot more legends will come. Then how many NBA players are they capable of putting in the game? Personally, I would love to see all of the NBA players. I'm greedy like that, but that takes a lot of time and energy. You got to remember, this is a actual indie studio game. Okay, so trying to come out here and act like they're going to be making some spectacular big thing, and this is where the conversation gets in. But this is a very cool little spot where I can come practice some shooting, some dribbles. Make sure you select the character you want, and they have some good mechanics. And I don't want to go through all like a tutorial guide here, but you can do advanced dunks, advanced dribbles, and then also do all types of different things for defense and offense. And the game feels really nice. Now, again, if you're one of those guys that's like, I need a long story game, or I want some, you know, big deal, it's like, okay, well, you can get that. I don't know if you can get that in this game. You get me? I'm not trying to discourage anybody from getting this game, but you're here to play this. What you're seeing in the background, me playing in these tournament. I'm in the finals right now, out here showing off, kind of trying to figure out how to get ankle breakers the whole game, basically, with Kyrie, and do all his trick dribbles to see what he could do, trying to do alley-oop dunks and different things like that, just to have fun. And that is why I recommend this game. Now, I don't know about the longevity, and I don't want people to get mad at me, because the community members, you know, the leagues and people that I've coached said to me that, you know, like, they don't even know if the servers are going to survive. Like, you know, the biggest negative feedback is like, can they keep this game going? What else are they going to add to keep players playing? This is more just like a once, you know, one-time game. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna jump into this. To me, the way I'm playing this is casual nights. I want to jump on for like an hour or two, just casually play this. Cool. Also would love to play offline with friends, like just them sitting next to me in couch version where we just sit down and play. Now, that doesn't mean that that's what the devs are going to do. Those are options that I would personally want, where we can host little mini tournaments and have a good time, you know, together, and bring that type of basketball to family events or just get-togethers where you could just hang out. And yeah, that's my thoughts. Now, personally, in my selfish opinion, is I want a spectator mode so that I could host tournaments and watch you guys play. I do want to run something in the near future. I'm not going to announce it officially yet, but it is coming. So don't forget, we won't make it happen. With all that being said, I do want to mention, you know, I appreciate y'all time, y'all energy, and yeah, check the game out if you want. If not, it's cool. Come watch me play on my streams every once in a while, and we can have a good time and vibe out. NBA The Run. It's out now, so go check it out. Y'all be safe. Take care. Stay blessed. Peace.